Hey guys, GamerKenny here. I wanted to do a quick discussion video today about the new Cubic support and ideas for the future of Cubic. As many of you know, we've had 3 new support cards added. Those are Cubic DHARMA, Cubic OMEN, and Cubic ASCENSION. Cubic DHARMA is a continuous spell that reads, you take no battle damage from attacks involving cubic monsters you control. During your main phase, you can send 1 cubic card from your hand to the graveyard, and if you do, draw 1 card. You can banish this card from your graveyard, then target 1 cubic monster in your graveyard, add that monster to your hand. And you can only use those last 2 effects once per turn each. This card can be quite good in some limited scenarios. It gives the deck some draw power, digging towards cards that you might need. The battle protection does come up, especially when making use of V-Charm to negate your opponent's monsters, and getting back cubic cards from the graveyard is a very welcome effect to have. It's also important to note that DHARMA discards for effect and not for cost, making it an even trade with things like Ash Blossom or Ghost Ogre. Although, if they Ghost Ogre or destroy it in some other way, you can then use the graveyard effect to get an additional card back to hand, which would be a plus in comparison to your opponent's card economy. The issue I have with this card is something you'll hear from Cubic players from time to time. It doesn't really push the deck forward with a great way to get a lot of Cubic cards into your hand to use to summon Nova. Nova requires you to reveal 3 Cubic cards in your hand other than himself, and that means you need to get a lot of cards in your hand. Even if you were to discard Cubic Karma and draw 1 card, you've only actually made a +0 with a search for a cubic monster. If DHARMA was to stay on the field for more than a turn or even be sent to the graveyard sometime after using the effect, then it could end up a solid plus. But this is more than likely a turn late for an OTK focused deck. The next card we are discussing is called Cubic OMEN. Cubic OMEN is a normal trap that reads, place cubic counters on a face-up monsters your opponent controls, up to the number of cubic monsters you control. Monsters with cubic counters cannot attack, also negate their effects. You can banish this card from your graveyard, then target 1 cubic monster you control. This turn, each time it destroys a monster with a cubic counter by battle, inflict damage to your opponent equal to the destroyed monster's original attack. You can only use each effective Cubic OMEN once per turn. Cubic OMEN is solid non-targeting negation of your opponent's face-up monsters, which could be potentially up to 5 monsters, but more than likely, when you do this you'll get 1 to 3 monsters max negated. So it's actually pretty good in that respect. The graveyard effect is also quite handy in specific scenarios when you need to push out the damage, and you can use Wave and Omen in conjunction to deal a ton of it. I think the graveyard effect is where this card lets us down. As far as damage is concerned, this archetype is doing pretty good. What this card could have provided instead is further ways to get cards from the banished or graveyard to hand, a Forbidden Lance-like protection effect for cubic monsters, or even an effect to use a similar negation again, or even simply to recur monsters from the graveyard. I definitely think this card could have been better, but it is what it is. Next up, we have what I consider probably the best support, Cubic Ascension. Cubic Ascension is a normal trap card. In the Dark Side of Dimensions movie, it summoned a single copy of V-Jam from the deck and switched the attack target to it. But moving into the real game, they actually souped up its standard effect and even gave it a fantastic graveyard effect. Its effect reads, activate when your opponent's monster declares an attack. Special summon 1 V-Jam the Cubic Seed from your deck, then change the attack target of that attack to that monster and proceed to damage calculation. If your opponent's life points is at least 2,000 higher than yours, you can banish this card from your graveyard, special summon 1 V-Jam the Cubic Seed from your hand, deck, or graveyard. If only your opponent controlled monsters when this effect was activated, you can also special summon up to 2 more V-Jam the Cubic Seed, and you can only use this last effect once per turn. Not only does this card allow you to stop an attack and redirect it to a monster indestructible by battle that it summons from the deck, and can also be used to negate the effects of monsters it battles with, but Cubic Ascension goes above and beyond the call by skipping straight to damage calculation. If you're unaware of the significance of this, there are many monsters whose effects activate at the start of the damage step, before damage calculation, and during damage calculation, who will not be able to activate their effects. Although I will add that monsters who activate during damage calculation might be able to activate their effects, and this is all determined on exactly how this card is officially translated. Remember that all the card texts I give to you here are actually unofficial translations from the OCG text. But even if those monsters whose effects activate during damage calculation are able to be activated, there are still several monsters who Cubic Ascension can out, such as Borolo Dragon, Thunder Dragon Titan, and Ultimate Conductor Tyranno. Now the best part of Cubic Ascension is its graveyard effect. This effect allows you to spam out up to 3 cubic monsters onto the field, and since it's a trap, you can also use this graveyard effect on your opponent's turn and your own turn. Those V-Jams can be used to summon Buster Gundil with the greatest of ease, allowing him to attack up to 3 times with 3000 attack. They can also be used for link plays, and it's important to remember that that using cubics for link plays triggers Unification's effect in the graveyard, meaning you have easy access to Doozer with the right setup, leading to plenty of link shenanigans. After you've linked away your VGEMs, you can also summon one back with another copy of Ascension. You won't be able to get all three, but it should be enough to turn the tides in your favour. So that's my thoughts on the new cubic support. Some really great cards coming in, and it's good to see Konami still supporting this archetype. Let me know what you think about these new cards in the comments. Moving on to the potential future, something I've been thinking about is the references that the cubic cards make to the Hindu religion. We notice two continuous spells, Karma and Dharma. These are both references to some of the main pillars of belief in Hinduism. In the Hindu faith, karma is defined as the sum of a person's actions in this and previous states of existence that decide their fate in future existences. And Dharma is the cosmic law underlying right behavior and social order. In order to get good karma, an adherent must fulfill the duties expected of it, or their dharma. This good karma will allow them to have a better life next time the adherent is reborn, and this cycle of birth, death, and rebirth is referred to as samsara, with the end goal being to escape the wheel entirely through moksha, which is defined as release or liberation from karma and samsara, where you become unbound by those laws and enter into nirvana. This is the ultimate goal, essentially. So we have a couple of concepts there. I believe we could definitely see some cubic support related to some more of the aspects of this, particularly moksha. Cubic moksha could definitely be powerful support that gives cubics easier access to their win condition, to the point where once you've set it up, you don't need karma and dharma anymore. Similar to the concept of moksha. As far as samsara goes, I think it could be used as some more recursion from the grave or banished perhaps, but I'm very interested if we can get something based on moksha, an ultimate goal to strive for. Anyway guys, those are just my thoughts. Please let me know what you think in the comments below. Be coming at you with some fresh cubic replays with a new support very soon. Cheers.